Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, World at War. It is the end of June 1945. The Axis powers have conquered Western Europe, they have conquered Russia, and they have conquered China. They're in the process of preparing for an eventual cross-channel invasion to attempt to knock England out of the war, and they're also in the process of invading India, which is being, I wouldn't say overrun, but definitely being pushed back. India has lost the eastern Pakistan part of India, or Bangladesh. They've also lost most of, or a big chunk of western India, and the Axis powers are now driving on essentially the Allies. So it's an interesting situation right now with the Allies being driven on both toward Bombay and Delhi from the west with the Germans, and the Japanese driving from the east. Meanwhile, north of Australia, the Americans have had a massive fleet destroyed, and the Japanese are preparing, it would seem, although I am the Japanese, so I guess it's my plan, to invade Australia as well. We'll probably go straight for Melbourne and Canberra, rather than fighting a land campaign that kind of slogs out across the plains of Australia. It would probably be safer to land at Darwin and drive inland, but that'll take a long time to be able to get that far. And honestly, the Allies will probably bring an overwhelming land force to bear against us. So while the majority of Allied attention is focused on India, I'm going to start getting things in place to make an attack on Australia. We'll probably land at Sydney, would be, well, maybe not Sydney. Sydney's mined. Rockhampton would be Rockhampton or Townsville would actually be the easiest place to land and drive from. But we could go all the way south to Adelaide here and kind of outflank them. The landings on all of these ports like Sydney and Melbourne are more tricky because they've got mines and sort of blocked sea lanes, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Anyway, with that being said, that's the current situation in the conflict. North Africa is the one place I left out. Cairo's been surrounded, and the Axis powers are preparing for their assault on that city as well. And North Africa may be invaded by the Germans now that Sicily has been liberated. The Allies have been kicked completely off the continent of Europe, and Germany's just developed the jet fighter, so 2 of our fighter units have been upgraded to Me-262s, which means that should give us an advantage against the Americans, who are still flying piston-driven fighters, while the British are using the Meteor jets. So that's the situation in June. Let's go ahead and fast forward here, or not fast forward. Let's go ahead and end our turn and get into the turn. So apparently there's some event that allows Britain to mobilize troops to defend Delhi. So there's, looks like, multiple free units that the British are going to get in India. Hopefully they're not any good. I wasn't expecting another event triggered to give the Allies a substantial increase in the number of soldiers that they have. But we'll see. Anyway, calculating supply. So the Allied turn here is about to begin. I'm surprised Italy's national morale hasn't gone up with any of the recent events. At least last I checked, it hadn't. British attempt to counterattack here in north of Bombay, but they kind of get a bloody nose there. The Americans have substantial forces in India as well. Some reinforcements flowing to those British troops. Meanwhile, ooh, yikes, that was a pretty rough hit. Diving to get out of there. An American destroyer and a British destroyer in the channel here doing some damage against us. Another American destroyer. Quite a few enemy destroyers here. Meanwhile, the Allies have a lot of submarines also. The interesting thing is if the Americans are going to move their subs into port at Delhi, I don't think their subs can submerge from attack if they're in ports. So that may actually give us an opportunity here to destroy an American sub in port. And it feels like the Allied Navy is disproportionately weighted towards submarines right now because we've destroyed like all of their surface fleets. But their submarines, you know, I'm assuming they're building out to close to the max number. Meanwhile, there is a lot of carrier action here in the channel, or just to the west of the channel, in the St. George Channel. We saw an American fleet carrier and 2 British escort carriers by the looks of it. I need to add some anti-aircraft guns to Berlin. That's the third time the Allies have bombed Berlin in the last 2 turns. I'm assuming that hurts our national morale. I'm not quite sure. A lot of air action here over England. Interceptors. So jet fighters doing some damage to both units. They didn't even drop bombs that turn. Wow. Or maybe they just did there. I don't know if my anti-aircraft guns are doing anything against these Strat bombers. Syracuse is being bombed. Tactical air here in the desert against our mechanized troops. Submarines continuing to be attacked and trying to dive from attack. Oh, shit. Eligela may fall. That garrison's down to 2 strength after those 2 tactical bombing raids. British subs going after our motor torpedo boats is kind of an amusing idea, really. Okay, they're driving our troops back from Cairo. Cairo's going to take a little while to fall, I think. Meanwhile, we surprised that British army moving away from Delhi. 2 British armies coming in from Delhi, and a British corps also. So taking Jodhpur was a trigger for... Oh, yes, they didn't take Eligela quite yet. It's hanging in there, boys. More casualties, but they're surviving. All right, are the Americans falling back further? Are they falling back to, like, the Calcutta line or something like that? We're starting to... I think, for the most part, I think we're starting to get through the rough terrain. I gotta get that sub into port so we can repair it. Okay. Doobie doobie doo. Come on, AI. End the turn already. Interesting that the Allies have escort carriers over there. We're going to really need to deal with those, too. I mean, we may get ashore, but if they've got all those escort carriers, that could be a bit of a challenge for us, given they're going to be able to attack air us. But I think the only way we can attack air them is if we get our aircraft across England as well really quickly. We're going to have to get the... because the Stuka just doesn't have the range. American heavy tanks in Australia. God damn it. Alright, so we've got some V weapons. We've also got the 1st Argentine Army. We're going to put that on the border. The V weapons are going to go in Germany. The Italian motor torpedo boat will go in the Med. And that's all of our units there. Alright, so... we're going to go ahead and dive bomb these destroyers, which are in the channel. Meanwhile, we're going to get a intercept by British jets, which don't do any damage. Wow, our jets flying escort for those were very effective. All right. Why can't he hit there? Just out of range? Allied interceptors. Our jets are escorting again. This time they did lose some casualties. But the Americans lost 5. And we got another destroyer. Alright. So this guy's already flown. This guy hasn't. Can this guy hit over here? No. I was hoping to knock out this American strategic bomber. It doesn't look like I can do that. Okay. We're not detecting anything out this way? Well, that's lame. Alright, let's upgrade these fighters to jets. Also upgrade their range. These fighters as well. These guys need reinforcements. They're already level 5. Alright. So... meanwhile, let's add some anti-aircraft guns to Berlin. Oh, wow. They did 4 damage to them. I wasn't actually trying to bomb the port, though. I was just trying to get a visual on these guys. They have a garrison in London? That's interesting. Can we take out this headquarter unit? We might be able to. Let's go for a Maidstone. More interceptors, more escorts. More interceptors. No escorts there, really? Why are our guys not doing anything? They should be hitting these guys. I guess we'll just go after the strategic bombers then. No escorts for them either? Jeez. That's just asking for trouble, sending those guys in without escorts. I would have thought they had... Do the jets have shorter range or something? Still can't do anything against these British headquarters units in Maidstone there, eh? Can't do anything there, eh? Alright, we're going to upgrade the town that these bombers are based out of. Hopefully that helps against enemy bombing raids. Any of these guys were in towns. We're going to upgrade the town. All right. Maritime bombers probably shouldn't waste their time bombing land targets. That's my takeaway there. All right, we'll move to Brussels. Maybe we'll pair-drop them into England if we can find a place to attack. We'll have to see. I'm going to need better recon on what they have than that. Let's reinforce this tank. Alright, these guys, they're entrenched only at level 1. Interesting. Alright, so they'll fall back here. So they got rid of all of these bad guys' entrenchments. We'll go ahead and dig our guys in there. And we'll pull our tanks back. Essentially what we're doing is we're pulling back, so we're inviting him to come rescue his soldiers here who are entrenchment level down to 0. Actually, go ahead and weaken them a little bit with our tanks, since we apparently can. And then we'll see if we can take Cairo next turn. Meanwhile, we'll try and reinforce the troops at Eligala. We'll see if they hold out for another turn or not. In India, what are we going to do here? All right, Karachi, I want you to... Let's move you here. Jeez, these soldiers are... Alright, let's move here. We'll go after this guy. Do we want to reinforce instead? Move our headquarter unit forward a little bit. Nice. That was a good result. And we destroyed him. Very well. Alright, so that was a good result for us. We destroyed a British unit here, got on the road between some of the soldiers in the north and Bombay. Our corps here provides some support against these special forces troops in the south. I think this Italian unit moves forward as well. We're a little bit exposed on the north. Our northern flank is a little bit open. But overall, I think that was a good turn. Reinforced our troops here. Damaged and destroyed a British unit in western India. Meanwhile... Can we do anything here? It doesn't look like it. Alright, we're going to cut this American armored unit off. And then we're going to attack with these guys, mainly just to weaken them. Oh, actually, might be able to finish them off. Or not. Alright, so I think we probably damaged this tank enough to where it won't be able to break out. And it's also it's also cut off. So it should die next turn, I think. Move these guys forward. Reinforce these. Alright, so we're going to attack with our tanks against the British armor here. Alright, so we drove them back out of Dhaka, then we can advance with our troops and almost destroy them. That was close. We didn't quite get them. Move our first Kwaitan army here. Move these headquarters soldiers forward. Apparently I can't move this guy yet. Can reinforce him to full, though. Can't reinforce him, so we'll fly him forward. Reinforce him part of the way. Reinforce him to full. Alright, so our attack air is mostly reinforced, so we should, I think, be in a relatively good position next turn. We've taken Dhaka here on the southern coast. We're moving through the rivers here in the Ganges, and I think the British are going to be compelled probably to fall back. This American armored unit will be destroyed. So India's done, North Africa's done, Western Europe is done. Still have to deal with Northern Australia. God damn it, there's a weather front. These American subs are hiding in port. I'm trying to take advantage and destroy them a little bit in port, but I'm not having any success there. And this other sub here is also hidden. Oh, shit. Why did I move my... Alright. American landing forces or something. I don't even know where these guys think they're going, but they're in the open. Boom! Down goes an American army unit at sea. Boom! Almost got another one. Boom! Down goes another one. Dun, dun, dun. Another one bites the dust. Dun, dun, dun. Another one bites the dust. And another one down. And oh no! He evaded damage. Not that time. Not that time, good sir. I don't even know what they think they're doing. What do they think they're doing out here? Just sailing around as if there's nothing around to be worried about? I don't think so. Let's move here. 2 more American units destroyed at sea. Rip to those soldiers. Alright, this air unit needs to be reinforced. Move him to Port Moresby. Our battleships are just chilling. They're just like, yeah, we're just hanging out back here. Don't mind us. That's the Indochina Expedition. Where's the headquarters unit? I put them on transports, didn't I? Move him here. Trying to get these guys a little bit closer to the front. Can these guys reinforce here? They can't. Where can they go to get reinforced? Do they have to go back to Penang, maybe? Let's rebuild these battleships. Alright, so those two battleships are back to full strength. With those units destroyed at sea, the Americans lose a couple more ground units. The British have... It looks like the British got 4 or 5 new units. And I don't know if that was the event due to India or what. American Navy's at 22 units currently. The British are at 17. I'll put them on long-range transports. Can we reinforce it this place too? No? Just upgrade? Put them on amphibious transport. So I'm really preparing. I'm trying to prepare guys for the invasion of Australia. I probably need another headquarters unit to be involved too. We've kind of got one slowly moving its way through China. To get there, we'll see if it ever does. Alright, so this American tank unit should be dead next turn. I mean, maybe we can start using our Air Force. I'm kind of frustrated I didn't succeed in destroying that British tank. It'll probably reinforce itself. Be interesting to see if they try and swing around and flank us. This Italian troop here is sort of guarding our flank, but we could use more troops in India, that's for sure. I'm hoping Cairo falls next turn. I can't get them from here. Okay. Interesting. All right, that's probably going to do it for the European front. Let's go across the Atlantic to Argentina. We just got that new army unit. We're going to move this headquarter unit this way. Reinforce these guys to level 8. There are 2 experienced units, so I'm thinking next turn we can probably knock Chile out of the war, and if not taking Santiago, at least destroy the garrison unit there and take it the following turn. Is diplomacy doing anything? No. Germany has 1,000 points to spend. It's currently spending 1,900 on research, so I don't really think I can bump anything up. I guess I could bump naval warfare up. Actually, I can't do advanced subs. I'd love to do another advanced sub. Or a long-range aircraft. We're about to develop level 5 tanks. Again, I could have sworn I already had that. Logistics is already max investment. Yeah. Alright, we won't invest anything there then. Japan has 150 available for research. We could invest that in anti-submarine warfare, which I think I will. I do need to be better at that. Germany, meanwhile, I guess we got to purchase more units. Argentina's already building everything max, with the exception of a destroyer. Germany needs more naval vessels. We need things that'll be built quickly, though. We don't have a year to wait on this stuff. There you go. Just purchased a shit ton of subs. All of these things are going to be ready in early 46. These guys are going to be ready in late 45. So we're going to have, what, like 9 subs? We've also got some air units coming here in November. Italy's got a destroyer coming in December. Japan has some carriers coming. but the weather's starting to turn in the South Pacific more toward monsoon. It's a bit of a challenge. All right. So, with that being said, I think that's going to about do it for this turn. I'm trying to think, did we miss anything? Japan would be super open to an Allied invasion were they to mount it. But, anyway. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this turn. All right, guys, this is a little bit of a shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. It's July 1945. The war's going well for the Axis powers. India's being caught in a vice, a double envelopment from each flank. The North African campaign continues to slog on slowly, with Cairo being attacked, and its entrenchments are basically gone, so hopefully we can take it next turn. If not next turn, then very shortly thereafter. Meanwhile, the Italians continue to hold out at Eligala despite all of their experience being gone. They probably will die next turn if they get a bad luck on a bombing raid. Sicily's been liberated, Italy's been liberated, France has been liberated, and now it's just a matter of wearing down the Allies enough so that we can make a cross-channel invasion possible. Until next time, though, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.